immense pleasure to welcome to the stage one of my best friends, one of the funniest people I know, the very, very amazing, the pretty peacock himself, Robert Buscemi!
Thank you. Whew. Thank you. I just got a chill. I think one of my fans must have just Googled me. And so it's been so hot lately. You see all these people with their shirt ends right here, and you're looking at their belly button, and I always wonder what happened to all this fabric, you know? Like, is there a mountain of midriff fabric rings somewhere? Like an Everest of frayed cotton calamari? Because if there is, I feel like God should sew them together and make a soft fire escape chute for babies. So if anyone's not seen me do comedy before, just hang in there. I liken watching me for the first time to the first time you ate sushi or wore a thong. It's odd, but you develop a craving. So just try to keep up, okay? I don't mollycoddle lollygaggers. And performing comedy is a lot like playing badminton. An overly developed sense of dignity is an impediment, so. But I know what you're thinking. Wow, this Robert Buscemi is one pretty peacock. Well, if you think I look good now, wait till you see me emerge glistening from your shower. Yeah, been working on my glistening skills. And yeah, my last name is Buscemi, so a lot of people ask if I'm related to Steve. I'm his niece. And as a kid, I wouldn't say I was beloved, but, you know, I was tolerated. I remember in the neighborhood, I was a real literal kid. I remember very literal. In the neighborhood, kids would play doctor, and they'd remove their clothes, and I'd remove their kidneys. So I've always been kind of a fashionista. I'm told the day I was born, the first thing I did was reach back in and retrieve my hat. And I do get a lot of compliments on my hat collection. Frankly, I preferred my hat collection better the first time around when it was called A Beautiful Head of Hair. And it's nice to be performing actually in LA. Yesterday I had to do a show in Glendale. When are they just going to rename that town fucking Glendale? Right? Except then we'd all have to say, damn it, I have to drive all the way to fucking Glendale. And this is nice, you guys are all here to see a show. Glendale last night, it was a bar show, one-off deal. Not a comedy club, and so, you know, the locals just can't stand that. They walk in and suddenly there's a comedy show happening, and they just look crushed. So, like, here's my impression of a guy walking into his local bar, and he doesn't know there's a comedy show, but there's a comedy show. And, okay, here you go. Here's that guy. Right? And of course he's off to the patio to smoke, which is fine. I smoke occasionally, mostly when I'm on fire. And it's nice to see a few people enjoying beer tonight. I feel like beer is God's way of apologizing for probably not existing. And I like to see people drinking real beer. You know, I don't like seeing another adult drink a light beer. I feel like if you want a beer, get a beer, right? I think the same thing when I see someone walking a Great Dane. If you want a horse, just get a horse. Right? Drink a beer on a horse. That's a good look. Samuel Adams pioneered that look. He had a little spigot right on his saddle. Yeah, but I was at my favorite seafood place the other night, and they had this great drink special at the bar afterwards. It was, you call it shots, anything behind the bar, just $3, any shot, which was really cool. The only catch was that you had to drink it squozen from a live sponge. Which is fun. I mean, it's exciting, but if you get a bad sponge, it can kill you. It's like Russian roulette. I don't mean a spoiled or tainted sponge. I mean a spiritually corrupt sponge. A hateful sponge. A sponge that's given up on life. But yeah, weird things in the sea. Weird things in the sea. I mean, one of the hardest things you can do is to explain a jellyfish to a child. The only thing harder is to explain a child to a jellyfish. Oh yeah, and you know what thinks it's so deep? The sea. Oh, and how about Lake Superior? So full of itself. Reminds me of that old joke. I like my women like I like my coffee, drunk in a church basement. Or that other one, I like my women like I like my chicken, provably descended from dinosaurs. See, I drink a little bit, but I feel like drugs are never the answer. Unless the question is, what's the funnest thing? So, and do you ever wonder, I wonder how many times Jesus got mistaken for a woman from behind. And it's funny, Jesus only had 12 followers, right? Jesus had 12 followers. But they retweeted him a lot. And it's interesting, certain biblical literalists, right? They believe every word in the Bible as written. They argue that God buried dinosaur bones to test our faith, right? But I feel like dinosaurs printed Bibles for the same reason. But yeah, it was a long time ago. And, you know, I feel like the one thing that it's great that it hasn't changed in all that time since Jesus' time is the rules of the game of chess, right? Rules haven't changed in millennia. So theoretically, I could have sat across the table from Jesus of Nazareth and played him at chess. And I feel like I could have taken him. Because he'd be so preoccupied thinking about how much he hates liberalism and feminism and the homosexual agenda that I'd smokehouse them with a classic Prague phalanx. Yeah, but actually, I used to front a pretty popular Christian rock band. We were called Oh For God's Sake. Probably our biggest single was called Abstain the Sheets. But it's true what they say about us Christian rockers. We were only in it for the supervised hugs. And I remember at one time, one of our shows, this poor kid was in the front row, one of our fans in the front row, and he had this t-shirt on. Said, "My parents got their marriage annulled by a priest." And all I got was this lousy t-shirt. And then he turns around and the back of the t-shirt said, "And also, if you think about it, I got retroactive bastardization." So yeah, I mean, I'd go back to the church. I was raised Catholic. I'd go back if they'd start deep frying those communion wafers. But as it is, I'm only a very, very occasional Catholic. Like, I'll go Christmas Eve to midnight mass, you know. I like to go Rocky Horror Picture Show style. I always dress as Pontius Pilate, and my cat Scooter goes as Jesus. Yeah, I do like dressing up. I was this year for Halloween. I went as Slutty Roy Orbison. But I actually don't much care for Halloween. I've never cared for any of the scary holidays, really. I'd never Arbor Day, Labor Day. Cinco de Mayo, which is fun to mispronounce because you offend two ethnicities in two syllables, which is no mean feat. But I never cared for Halloween. They kind of got me this one year, and I just have never kind of turned me off the holiday. It was, you know how you go in the haunted houses and they have that like tactile sensation game they play, and you get in a dark room, they're like, reach in here and feel around, ooh, and it's whatever, it's like wet grapes, you know, but they tell you it's human eyeballs. And you're like, oh. Or, you know, whatever, reach in here, oh, and it's, you know, wet pasta, but they tell you it's worms and guts, and it's scary. And, but I remember one year they really got me. It was the same thing, it was like, reach in here, ah, and it was a hippopotamus rectum. And they had told me it was going to be Frankenstein's rectum. And it felt just like him. But I was out the other day and I saw this bumper sticker. You'll like this. I saw this bumper sticker. It says, "My other car is also a car. We have two cars." So the other day I'm driving too fast and a guy stops me. He says, "You know why I pulled you over?" I said, "I don't know, officer. Perhaps my I blow cops vanity plates?" And I called the clock in my car David Bowie, because it too is way ahead of its time. But I am starting to agree with the car commercials. I think the best way to experience nature is to speed through it in your Prius listening to Moby. So I'm flipping past the channels the other day, and land on this great nature show. Kind of a new take on an old show. It's called When Bad Animals Do Good. And some real uplifting segments. I remember the first one was grizzly bears dragging knock-kneed senior citizens across busy intersections. Second one, of course, rabid weasels scream reading at hearing-impaired infants. And finally, rattlesnakes demonstrating the proper use of condoms to at-risk youth. Thank you. And of course, my spirit animal's always been Foghorn Leghorn. Which reminds me, look, just because I'm watching a bird doesn't automatically make me a bird watcher, okay? Maybe I'm just a guy waiting for the bus, just like you are. But I happen to be wearing a pith helmet, very expensive binoculars, and scribbling in my ornithology notebook. And I happen to inform you that yonder merganser is on the southernmost terminus of its annual migration. So my point is, don't pigeonhole me, okay? Don't assume, because when you assume, you make an Oz out of sume. People say I don't have jokes about birds. Oh, so what do you think is faster, an ostrich or another pretty much exactly as fast ostrich? Huh? Whoa, look at them, they're neck and neck. Oh! And it is weird, I was talking backstage with my chiropractor, ex-chiropractor. But it's true, you don't really think about a penguin as having innards, necessarily, do you? Doesn't it seem like you go in there and there's just more penguin? Like in a racer. But you'll find it's not the case. But I was proud of myself. I was real efficient earlier today on my way over here. I was real efficient. I was able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Baby birds, cinder block, real ugly scene. There's your jokes about birds. Oh, hello. So the other day my agent calls me with an audition. I said, does it require nudity? He says, no. I said, well, does it permit nudity? I've been worried lately about my appeal. Lately my come hither looks have been getting a go yon response. And I think it's because I stopped wearing my fuck me boots and started wearing my fuck someone else sweatpants. And I was proud of myself, though. The other night a woman gave me her phone number. It was an emoji, 3 Chinese characters, and a hieroglyph. So I think she's playing hard to get, but it was something. Because recently I finally figured out what women really like. What women really like is loud sports arguing. And I've been meeting women recently on this dating site, MapQuest. Which beats what I did in the old days. In the old days, I had a print ad every month in Historical Reenactment Monthly. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but same language every month. Male ironsmith seeks female cobbler for candle making and horse shotting exhibitions. Light partying, okay. Let's make history together. And I do have to say, I am really, really good at sex. I'm so good at sex, in fact, they recently retired my sleep number. Which, by the way, I recently came up with a fantastic cure for insomnia, right? If you can't fall asleep, you phone a friend and ask them to tell you yet again about how much their yoga practice has deepened. And people are surprised they come over. People are sometimes surprised because my sheets have a thread count of only 6. It's because I sleep in a guitar hole. And I was able to pull off my signature sexual move a couple weeks ago. My signature sexual move, which is whenever I have 3 particularly tall, skinny, scrawny, rangy, hippie women in bed at the same time, I'll go ahead and braid them. And it's not about size. Folks, it's not about size. Fellas, guys always talk about how big their penises are. Look, fellas, I don't care how big you think your penis is. If you make a dress specifically for your penis, it's not going to be that big of a dress. And it's weird, though, you get a little bit older and your fantasies change. I don't know if other people notice your fantasies change. When I was a younger man, I just want to make love to a beautiful woman I love very much on the beach at sunset. But now that I'm a little older, I just want to beat a man to death with his own shoe. And it's always Bob Costas. But yeah, anymore, only certain kinds of pornography do it for me. There's this great site. It is a whole site dedicated to millennials dropping their phones in water. It's hot. Or a pretty popular fantasy with me just of late is a really beautiful woman comes up to me and whispers in my ear, "There's leftover pizza in the conference room." And I like women in fishnets. Not fishnets, stockings, fishnets. Not mermaids, women. And I don't know why anyone would want friends with benefits when you can have acquaintances with whipping dungeons. Right? And it's actually in the whipping dun community, you have to have a safe word. You know, if someone's whipping too hard, you got to have a safe word and ask them to back off. My safe word is all the lyrics to Beyonce's Crazy in Love. It's not what you Beyonce, it's what you beyond do. I've become kind of the public face of a certain sexual affliction, and so I'll talk about it in public. I'm pretty comfortable with it. More men suffer from it than you would expect. I don't get enough fluid in my semen. And it's not an erectile problem. It's not a sensation problem. We'll have a great time if we're together. You know, the one thing you might notice is at my moment of culmination, it'd be almost like if you cut off the top corner of a feather pillow. It's like, outside, everybody gets pregnant. I'm like a cottonwood tree. Similarly, if we're adults here, if we're enjoying oral pleasures, I love to give and receive. Everybody, I will have a wonderful time. Again, one odd moment for you might be when I, again, achieve my moment of climax. It's almost like when you're at the optometrist and they test you for glaucoma. Like, don't blink. Very unpleasant for you. Very unpleasant for you. You do find out when you're with me in that capacity whether you have glaucoma. So I'm able to offer that. But I like an older woman. It's hard to know where to meet them, though. So I have an archaeologist buddy. We've been looking in tar pits. And unearthed a beautiful specimen recently named Lucy. She's an Australopithecus, and so I've been dating her. Carbon dating. She walked a land bridge straight to my heart. But I've been dating a real doll recently. A real doll. She's a painted Russian wooden nesting doll. Number 2 in a group of 8. So she's one of your bigger gals, which I like. And at first she seemed real empty inside, but once I got her to open up, she was full of personalities. Oh, this is fun. You'll enjoy this. Here's something you can do when you're out. This is fun. You go up to a couple having a romantic dinner at a Sidewalk Cafe, right? You go up and you just lock eyes with one of them, and you say, "Sometimes I just miss us." And you run out into traffic. And another one that's fun to do, another one is if you ever have to break up with someone, you can use this one too. If you ever have to break up with someone, you take them again to a Sidewalk Cafe, make sure there are a lot of people around. You stand up in the middle of the meal, throw your napkin down, say, "You know nothing of the sea." And you hightail it out of there into traffic. But yeah, it's funny. My grandpa used to tell us, boys, if you go on a date, bring 3 things. Plenty of prophylactics, Old Spice cologne, and if you can possibly swing it, bring a woman. Grandpa was something. Grandpa was a beach bum, actually. I don't mean he liked to surf and play volleyball. I mean he would sleep in the sand. Right, face down, he'd wake up in the morning, there's a grandpa-shaped divot. He'd be off to fight the seagulls for hot dog buns for breakfast. Well, you and I call them seagulls. He called them beach chickens. They're all going to wind up Hooters wings in the end, he'd say. But it's tough. Relationships are tough, honestly. Love is tough. This is a true story. My friend Elizabeth broke up with her boyfriend, Russell, on Valentine's Day some years back. And just brutal. The way she did it, I'll never forget the way she did it. She got him a box of Russell Stover's chocolates. Only she used a Sharpie to change the lettering a little bit, make it read, "Russell, it's over." Like, "Russell, it's over. Sorry there's no chocolate left in the box, Russell. I smashed it into the shape of your head and fed it to my Jack Russell Terrier, whose name is Terry." Terry. His name's Terry. I'm aware the story would be funnier if the dog's name were Russell too, you know, but you can't stand up here and just make stuff up, folks. I'm a journalist first. I'm third chair oboe for the Tuscaloosa Philharmonic. Licensed heating and air conditioning repairman. And only then, a comedian, so. Oh, you'll like this. I got an orange wallet the other day. It's not orange colored, it's for carrying oranges. Wallet. It's a grocery bag is what it is. Well, there's been a cereal on the shelf for just decades that never had any advertisements for it or jingles for it. It's called Blueberry Morning. People sing Blueberry Morning. It's a cereal, and I thought of a jingle for the cereal Blueberry Morning. Tell me if you like this. It goes, we'll have a blueberry morning when Christ comes to save us. Saving soul after soul with bowl after bowl. Oh, and here's a Miss Manners question for you. Here's a Miss Manners question for you. Which party is supposed to bring the coffee and muffins to a duel at dawn? The challenger or the challengee? But yeah, you talk about breakfast. I have kind of a standard response when a server at a diner asks what I want. I always say, I'd like to propose some toast. I'll tell you something, they laugh at that. They just laugh and laugh. And it's great that they laugh, because I don't leave any money after. In lieu of a gratuity, I always leave my Why Tipping Hurts Us All manifesto. And yeah, I eat at diners sometimes. And it's not that I don't care about my body. I do care about my body. That's why I treat it like I would a stranger I'm interested in. I ignore it and hope it'll do something to impress me. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, I do have the body of an Adonis who won a year of free Netflix and pizza delivery. So I'm actually thinking about opening a men's big and tall pants store. Call it Britches Be Trippin'. What is putting on a few extra pounds? It's shoring up against lean times, right? So, heck, I call it being prudent. I have to be careful, though. My aunt has to ride a rascal scooter around everywhere. She got diagnosed as morbidly prudent. And so yeah, here's a weight loss tip for you. Before you step on the scales, remove any extra clothing, shoes, obviously, pants, everything, whatever, jewelry. I remove my contact lenses. It doesn't save a lot on weight, but then you don't have to see that number. But I have actually gained enough weight now that having sex with me qualifies you as having had a threesome. So if you have that on your bucket list, bring over some croissants and we'll party. But I try to eat healthy. I had a holistic piece of chicken the other day. This chicken was so holistic, it had been, during its lifetime, not only free range, this chicken had been self-governing. Been unionized. Given access to spas and gymnasia. And, which makes you think, do you think it bothers vegans that they themselves are made of meat? love food. I love a good dinner party. I'm usually running way late to get over there. And recently I was at one and the host texts me, what's ETA? And I texted back, I'm pretty sure it's an acronym for estimated time of arrival. And I'm a bit of a problem at dinner parties anyways. I'm the guy at a dinner party who will interrupt everybody's dinner to force everyone to watch a YouTube clip on my cell phone, right? And it's always a YouTube clip of me interrupting a different dinner party to show them a YouTube clip. It's funny, Exotic cuisines always throw me. I never know which one's spanakopita and which one's spina bifida. Which one does my cousin have we go over? And which one does my other cousin have? Oh, here's one. So, what do you call a man with no arms or legs in a swimming pool?
Bob.
No, you call him Eric, because that's his name. Which I'm someone I can never remember names. I never remember names. I'm pretty good at remembering Social Security and credit card numbers, expiration dates, and those 3 digits on the back. You're gonna need those. And I can never remember. I can never remember the answer to my bank account security question. Like, in what city was your first pet's first job? Numbers are tricky. Numbers will throw you. Like, for example, 4 out of 5 numbers are neither 4 nor 5. And 9 out of 10 doctors say the 10th person isn't even a doctor. And hey, how much do you want to bet even Romans couldn't read Roman numerals? A guy asked me the other day if I know how computers work. I said, dude, I don't know how pencils work. And I actually have a really cool girlfriend now who offered to reenact something for me. I missed the very early days of the internet when you first realized there was pornography on the internet. And you're like, oh my God, there's a picture on there. Somebody uploaded Playboy, and you click on the link. It's gonna happen, and then like one line appears across the top. A few minutes later, another line. I was always done by the time her nose appeared, which explains that fetish. But yeah, like I was saying, my girlfriend is so hip. She says, hey, Buster, I'll help you relive those times. I have an idea. I said, wow, okay. And she says, you just sit right there. I sat down. She left the room. She comes back with a sheet. She just very slowly, one line, another line. Bless her heart. And she had embroidered the word buffering on... And then the coup de grace, I don't know how she did this. My parents walked in the room and I had to shut off her monitor. It's funny, now it's different. You go on Facebook and it's so annoying. I have to say, every comedian, we're holding a microphone in our Facebook profile photo, we're holding a microphone. It's so dumb. I mean, you don't see every physician out there holding a scalpel. Every judge holding a gavel, right? Every magician holding a lack of a girlfriend. Reminds me of that old joke. A magician, a mime, and a puppeteer walk into a bar. All the women leave. Shoot, I just remembered after this I have to go home and unclog my dream catcher. But I've gotten pretty savvy. I recently started my own website. It's called eatyourpomeranian.com. It's not where you think. No, it's probably exactly what you think. And yeah, on Facebook, a friend of mine recently posted in the afternoon, she posts, it says, if anyone knows of any jobs of any kind, you let me know. And nobody said anything all afternoon. Finally, I posted, I don't know, some people are dentists? Oh, and I figured out a really good hack, a really good Facebook hack. You can use this, you'll like this. If you ever make an event and you invite people to the event and someone says no, you immediately make that person an administrator of the event. Oh, and then my friend Carl. You ever see these photographs? You ever see a photograph of someone lost a bunch of weight and they hold up this gigantic pair of jeans next to them they could never fit into now, you know? And my friend Carl, he holds up the same thing. He's put on a bunch of weight recently, and he's holding up this skinny little pair of jeans. And Carl, and then I notice, oh, it's not a photograph. There's the sideways triangle. He's got a video. All right, Carl. So I hit play. Sure enough, Carl rolls up the jeans and dunks them in a vat of Nutella and eats the jeans. Carl. Facebook is so dumb. And people get all high on their high horse. Oh, I'm gonna stop Facebook. They leave for a weekend. They're off Facebook, act like they're Henry David Thoreau walking into the woods. Which I could never survive in the woods. I couldn't survive in the woods. I like movies too much to see. For starters, I'm one of those people, I'll go to opening night, a science fiction film, and I'll dress in character. Always Hugh Grant from Notting Hill. I love science fiction films, but tell you the truth, Terms of Endearment was my Star Wars. And I remember I went to the opening of that dressed as Dolly Parton in 9 to 5. And I always have this fantasy that the guy who voices all the big blockbuster movie trailers will get so powerful that he'll be able to just go into a recording booth and improvise, and then they'll have to make those movies. So he's like, first, man walked on the moon. Now, it's the moon's turn. We gotta make it. Oh, and you'll get a kick out of this. I recently rewatched that movie, Her. Remember the movie Her? It's a wonderful movie. It's the movie Her. Joaquin Phoenix's character falls in love with Scarlett Johansson's character, but she's not a person. She's just a disembodied operating system. She's like a computer-generated, artificial intelligence. And when I saw it, there was an alternative ending. I didn't know they'd made an alternative ending. Apparently it didn't test well. Didn't make it through to the final cut. But this alternative ending, Joaquin's character, he leaves her for a cheap calculator that can spell the word boobs. Yeah, Yeah, I like TV a lot too. Like movies, I like TV. Like I was actually pitching a show the other day. Tell me if you like this idea. I was pitching a show. It's called Extreme Home Makeover. And what it is every episode at dawn, unannounced, we bulldoze a different house. And it's always the house that Pauly Shore has scurried to from the previous episode. And it's funny, I got a call from my literary agent the other day. I got a call from my literary agent looking for pitches for, there's a new project. They're making adult versions of classic children's books. And asked if I had any ideas, so I generated a few titles. Tell me if you think these are good. One is, Are You There, God? It's Me, Daryl Strawberry. And then another one, Frog and Toad are friends with benefits. And then the third title I pitched was The Little Engine That Could Fillate Itself. And yeah, I got the call because I'm an author. I've recently finished another men's empowerment book. It's called Eunuchs, Unitards, and You, Using Yoga to Unlock the Secrets of Each Man's Ghost Vagina. Yeah, pretty excited. Looking for a publisher. Although I have to be honest, at this point I'd settle for a typewriter. At present, it's just scrawled in crayon on the backs of like 40 cereal boxes around my apartment. I don't even live there anymore. But yeah, TV's king anymore. Anyways, TV is king. I mean, pretending to have watched TV shows is the new pretending to have read books, right? Like, oh yeah, The Wire, Moby Dick, I know all that stuff. And everybody's in a book club now. Everybody's in a book club. I was in a book club too once. It was called college. Okay. Didn't do the reading then either. And I went to this really hippy-dippy liberal arts left-wing college. I double majored in trance dancing and chasing hallucinated butterflies. My girlfriend majored in dithering with a minor in vacillation. So it was cool college. But school, I was cool in college. I wasn't always that cool. As a grade school kid, kids would make fun of me because I'd go to the cafeteria, the grade school cafeteria, with these strange lunches. My mom, bless her heart, she was an immigrant, so she'd pack us these weird foods, and like I'd go to school and pull out a giant yogurt container full of warm buttermilk. Or like boiled purple cabbage wadded up in wax paper. You cannot trade that for a ho-ho on the open market. Or she'd make us these liverwurst sandwiches on this black bread, so dark and dense it bent light. So I'm sitting across from little boys and little girls turning into old men and old women before my eyes. Oh, theoretical physics jokes, huh? All this food looked like it had been pitched back up out of a leper pit, right? And bless her heart, Mom would pack it in a burlap turnip sack stapled to a broken mop handle. Thanks, Mom. And High school was better. High school was better. I actually won all the big awards by the time I was a senior. I won most school spirit. I won best on the debate squadron, handsomest eyes. I won sleekest forehead, I remember, smallest ears. Now, by this point, I was being homeschooled. My dad was no help at all. My dad was no help at all. We had in the family school bus, it was just a little subcompact. I don't know if anybody remembers Ford back at the time. Ford made a subcompact. It was called the Ford Mons Pubis. I don't know what was going on, but Detroit was just feminizing the names of so many cars. There was like the Chevette, I remember, the Chevelle, remember the Shagina? And Dad had a bumper sticker. Sure enough, Dad had a bumper sticker on there that said, "Proud father of a future fourth party write-in gubernatorial candidate." And damned if the old man didn't turn out to be right. All these people talking bumper stickers, all these sayings. It drives me nuts. People say this stuff. People say, "Oh, you should live every day like it's your last day on earth." I mean, that's fine, but your mom doesn't want that phone call every afternoon. Or people say, "Hey, whatever floats your boat." What does that even mean? I'm here to tell you, it's only ever water. But I heard one recently that I really like. I heard a saying, I really like it. It's, "Nothing says we disapprove of this pregnancy like a Subway sandwich platter at the baby shower." And then when I do get a chance to say one of these sayings, or I always screw it up. Like the other day, it was perfect. I said, "Oh, I see, finally, the student has become the pupil." And my neighbor Leon, I'm walking home the other day, my neighbor Leon, he's putting mulch at the base of a sapling. It's like, "Leon, what do you do? What is mulch? Mulch is old, dead tree. You put that's morbid. You put that at the base of a sapling? What are you going to line a baby's crib with grandparent meat?" But yeah, I actually really, really like kids. I like kids. I have a way of bonding with kids when I first meet them. I get a new niece or nephew, or one of my friends has a kid. I always get right up over the crib and I say to them, "You are so precious to me." And I just don't blink for 10 minutes. Then you have that bond with them. But I do. I like little kids. I volunteer. I actually visit sick kids in the hospital. And, they say laughter is the best medicine. What I do is I'll go in and sit like in a chair way across the room from them and just laugh hilariously at stuff on my cell phone. And I actually recently started a charity walk for Alzheimer's. And we had t-shirts printed up. They say, "Why am I walking?" And all the money we raise goes towards search parties. It was so nice. A couple weeks ago, my buddy said he's getting married next summer. But he's getting married next summer. He asked me to be one of the pallbearers. Best men. Groomsmen. Pallbearers. Talk about death. I do think it's very important to put in a legal document your end-of-life wishes. It's important to be very explicit. I'm very explicit in mine. I say, when it's my time to go, just wheel me out and catapult me against a very near wall. Poof! That's how I want to go. And of course, when people die, there's stages of grief. There's a natural progression of stages of grief. There's denial, and then you bargain, and then finally acceptance. And I feel like there should be another stage in there that you spontaneously get rock hard abs. Because you've been through a lot. And boy, you know what group of people I can't stand? For one, I cannot stand tourists, right? Unless I'm traveling, and then you know who I can't stand? Freaking locals. A lot of people like to take 3 or 4 days off work and just hang out in their hometown, and they call it a staycation, which is nice. I like to leave town. I call it a go-cation. And recently I was doing exactly that. I was going on a trip, and my cat sitter texts me, like, what do I do if we run out of cat food? I said, feed each cat to the cat immediately above it in size. So yeah, we're traveling, and hey, is anybody else here sick of babies crying on airplanes? Am I right? I say we gather all the babies together and put them on a separate, smaller plane behind our plane. Call it Suckle Jet. It's funny, actually, I have a name for have an idea for a discount airline. Real nice discount. The one catch is, at some point in flight, the pilot presses an eject button and one piece of luggage gets sent to Arizona or wherever you're over. And so it's like hello, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached cruising altitude. I'm going to count down from 3, and we're going to press the eject button. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you look at that. It's beautiful. Looks like a vintage orange Samsonite piece. And from 37C, there's a little whoop! And it's them and not us, right? So... And then a half hour later, he rolls down the window, and we all fish for birds. Of course, where I was headed, went to Paris. And we get there, and we had the best time. We went to an art show right in our arrondissement. We went to an art show, and all these painters had their wares out, and I don't speak a word of French. And I wasn't going to buy any of them. But here, I'll do an impression for you. Here's my impression of me walking up to a French artist's table and conveying that I really like the art. Okay? And then I get home, I land, and I notice this new sign they've got at the airport arrivals. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. There's the usual sign, says courtesy shuttle every 15 minutes. And now there was a new one right next to it, says rudeness shuttle whenever it goddamn well feels like it. I'm going to be honest, as an audience, I'm beginning to find you tiresome, rude, and disagreeable. And if anyone knows of any other better material I should be doing, you can email me. My email address, noreply@mailer.com. Thank you.